You booked it, episode 154. What's going on, everyone? Thank you for joining me today on You Booked It, the #1 podcast where you learn how to create a successful entertainment career. Every episode is a masterclass on how to move your career forward. And if you want even more, head over to youbookeditpodcast.com and join the email community where we dig deep into what you can be doing right now to help book that next gig. And now, let's do this. Okay, let's get started. I am excited to introduce my guest today, Caroline Bernier-Dionne. Caroline, are you ready for this?
Yes.
All right. French-Canadian actress and puppeteer from Montreal, Caroline was touring with Cirque du Soleil in Axel, an on-ice show before the pandemic. She is trained in figure skating, giant puppets manipulation, and classical acting. She also developed clown skills and stilts walking by doing professional entertainment. For sure, she cannot wait to get back on tour as she's expected to play Scooby-Doo in the music hall with Scooby-Doo on tour. Her actual project, though, the Puppet Podcast, is at its 75th episode, and she wants to unite the international puppetry community. Caroline, that is a quick intro of who you are and what you've done, but why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself, fill in the gaps, and a little bit more about what you do as a professional in the entertainment industry?
Yeah. So I think this intro covered the big chunk of what I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing. But I'm trained as a classical actress. I've done some publicity, some like TV set, commercial, some shooting, different fashion of shooting. But I also have done some intervention in entertainment, such in school, help educators with puppetry or with like entertainment skills, how we can communicate our message as performer. Yeah, I think it's quite of interesting because I speak French first, so I just get through the English community as I start this puppet podcast. So I'm now like bilingual and getting my career going through the English side and playing into US or like all around. So it's really cool to have all of that all together and be, as I call, a multidisciplinary artist. So I do puppetry, I do acting, I do clown, stilts, walking, figure skating, whatever like the production needs, I want to do it and play in different field and place where you have no theater usually is an interesting ground for me.
Yeah, I would say so for all of us, hey, but very cool. I love that you have such a diverse skill set. Awesome. And let's dig into this first section here. And Caroline, look, I am a sucker for a good quote. What is your favorite quote you'd like to share with everyone?
I will quote some of my figure skating coach, I think, at this point, who said to me, "We want to see you having fun doing this." When you do figure skating, it's such a sport, as you are an athlete, but also you have to be theatrical. So you
Mm,
play a character on ice. So I was 15 years old when she's telling me this, when I was like, you are into your performance. And it's the same with like theater and acting. But I think this quote of having fun is so important in what we are doing in art and entertainment because the audience could feel the passion and the fun of the performer. And this is, for me, really key.
yeah, for sure. That's very cool.
Yeah. So for me, it's where I discovered theater. My first stage was the ice and the competition. And, all of this feel is really, you have a lot of pressure, like the star system, like our field. And it's really interesting to connect the dots in
Mm.
those because it's really linked and you have to just getting you out there and performing and smiling. So as I was trained in this first, I also apply that kind of background story to my journey in theater.
Yeah, very cool. And let's go on to this next section here. And Caroline, of course, you are an entertainer. I'm an entertainer. And I think that you'd agree that this industry can be one of the most subjective, brutally honest, and personally emotional industries in existence. And you know as well as I that in order to create and have a successful career in this industry, like you're having now, takes a lot of dedication and hard work. And while, yeah, there's an outrageous amount of fun and excitement doing what we do, there are also our fair share of obstacles, challenges, and failures we are going to experience and we're going to have to move forward through. So tell us, what is one key challenge, obstacle, or failure you've experienced in your career, and how did you come out the other side better because of it?
I think for me, at some point of my career, I was feeling I was like going in circle, doing this kind of level of gigs and project. You are like stuck at a level, a comfortable level, not like that nothing happened, but you are stuck there. And I discover the power of the social media. I think in this field, as you said, is really subjective, but the fact that you have to be unique is key. And I think people want to see what is unique in you, what you are doing that other don't do. What is your special skills? So I think the world is full of plenty average girl like me. Like I'm totally the average girl, and like the shape is really normal. And so it's funny because I was after theater school, you go into so much deep knowledge of yourself, you introvert a lot, like who I am, where I want to go. And it's funny because all of this training at theater school makes you maybe sometimes more in confusion. Like you feel you don't know from where you start. What was the beginning, like the purpose at the beginning? So it's funny because at some point I met my boyfriend, who is a social media specialist and someone who do counseling in social media. And he just pushed me a bit. That was the obstacle. Like he said, promote your job, like your gig, all your job you do. Because I was in this mindset of, I don't want people to know that I'm doing too much children thing, or I'm doing some like still stuff one day and the other day I'm doing another totally different project with like filming and camera and stuff. So he just said to me, promote it. People want to see what you are doing. Like it's a point of communication. And it's funny because I was so shy at the beginning. When you're on stage, you are a character. You are not kind of yourself, but to promote you, like for sure, the casting picture, but to promote all your gig, like you with the set, you during your backstage, promoting you with the kids over and over with persistence, for me was like intensively was a challenge. Okay, I need to put myself out there and promote that I'm a willing lady, I want to work. And so this is for me a key moment in my career, was when I decide this. And for sure I get some support, because you need to at the beginning you don't know what to put there or what is a good post, what is the culture is to put on social media, breakfast and cats. But if you use this tool to make art out there, to make the power of artists out there in the world, the society will be more happy. And this is my deep philosophy. Like I think artists have a message, have a way of communicate stuff. And if you put your stuff in their face, people will be more happy. And also the job will arrive and the level of your gigs will grow, because people will see you are in action and they will want to work with you, but because you are so optimistic, because you work. So for me, that was the challenge, to get over the barrier of promoting the small gigs, the little corporate gigs that you do. It's a dinner and you do a little stand-up or whatever, but you put it there and there every day. And that's the key. I think it's an advice I could give to others, really. And it's really something, it was successful for me at the end.
Thank you for bringing that up. That's really important. And I think a lot of us, especially initially, struggle with the idea of self-promotion. And social media has absolutely changed the game completely.
Yeah.
Because before you used to have your agent or your manager, and they would promote you and do the work for you. But the industry is changing so much, and especially on the West Coast in America, Las Vegas, LA, it is full on. You better have your social media together, because that's what, when you go to auditions, when you go to a casting, when you give for a submission, they are asking for your Instagram handles. Where are you on social media so they can check you out? Because all of these producers want to leverage your following so they can help drive popularity and ticket sales and whatever it is for whatever it is they're trying to promote. Even if it's a corporate event, that brand wants to know that they're going to get their brand all over other people's social media. It's free marketing, right? And on the East Coast, it's certainly a thing. Absolutely. But from my experience and what I've seen, that it's still picking up steam a little bit in the East Coast as compared to the West Coast. But it's 100% what it's going to be for everybody in this industry moving forward. And I know a lot of people that they hate the idea of that, of self-promotion, and having to use these platforms to say, hey, this is what I'm doing, and being consistent with it. I like that you mentioned consistency and being persistent. And it's true. Our minds are we have such short attention spans now that you have to always be reminding people in a way of what it is that you're doing. Be consistent with your posting. And, almost keep like a treasure trove of content so you don't blast through it so fast. But the days that maybe you're not doing something, you still have something to post. That's all really important stuff.
True.
Yeah, and we are our own PR teams. We're our own marketing agencies now for our own selves. And it's just the way the industry is transitioning and moving, but it's also a super important part that you have to get on board with.
Yeah, and it's true. If you don't like computer and you don't like it's the challenge, I think, to get enough knowledge to enjoy it and see it in in an art way, because you can be so creative, like to make joke and also make it so light and funny that it could help others. And it's really the message, I think, especially in this pandemic time, people are really screwed to their screen, and also the casting wants to see, as you said, they will scroll you down and Google you. So it's important to have good stuff going on and be proactive on that.
Yeah, for sure. And let's move on to a time that I like to call your spotlight moment. That one moment in time you realized, yes, I am going to be an entertainer for a living. Or maybe it was, yes, this is what I need to be doing as an entertainer. Tell us about that.
Yeah, totally. I was like the spotlight. Me in my podcast, I call it the crush. You fall in love with an art form or a part of the art. So I was 15 and I was like questioning myself. You do those kind of tests when you are at school about your aptitude and your quality. And it's funny because it wasn't like saying that I will be an artist. I was like, but I want to do this art thing. So my question happened. I was on a stage doing a rehearsal for a high school show. And I said, what I can do all day long without getting bored, like without getting tired, without having some doubt about whatever, or I can just forget the problems. And it was for sure theater. Like to be with a script, a text, and just rehearse and try to do to say the word different way, to change the scene, to do it backward, to play actually was the answer to this question. So I remember to decide, no matter what happened, I would do this, because I believe that playing is the key term in this world. we are here to play. So to be in acting and in theater was the key wording for define myself. And I want to bring out another spotlight because it was about puppetry. So this art form is not really, maybe it's known, but it's not often into the trend of actor. I remember in my class in theater school, in the professional theater school, you are a really small group. You are 11 people and you spend 3 years together and you do all of the diction and movement exercise and all of this. And I was like just the girl, maybe not doing the traditional career. I was feeling I want to take like the door of doing publicity first. For me, it was like, it will come. I will do maybe some set, or I was always feeling that I was not like the others, like a bit original. So I remember to saw this job offer they were searching for someone to do the entertainment around a puppet theater, a giant puppet theater. And I arrived over there and it was outside, like a big, just a roof, and a lot of the theater is outside. It's just like the crowd is surrounded by puppets. So I was like there and I was like, what is this thing, puppetry? I'm not totally sure I like this. Is it scary? Is it strange? But we get a group of children this day, and I just tried a job for the first day. And we just make the kids play with those giant puppets. And they were 3 by every puppet, like 2 arms and 1 handling the head. And they were like on wheels driving this puppet. And I was to the music. And he said, put the music, the 17 on the disc. And it was a CD player at the time, but I put the music. And it was Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong. And I saw the kids like taking the puppet and like just make the puppet dance together. And they were like now 6 kids around 2 puppets. And it was peace. For me, I saw peace on earth this moment.
Yeah.
So it was so intense as it was sunny. And I just remember it was the spotlight. And I saw those kids smiling, and it was the crush. I was like, I want to do giant puppetry and make this art form going next level. And by the way, I will go with this art form wherever I will have to go, because it's magic, it's power. So yeah, this is the spotlight.
Yeah, I really like that story. And puppetry is such a unique art form as well. It's one of those things that's very niche.
Yeah.
But when you start looking at it, before I interviewed you, I was having a look on your social media and just went down the puppeteer rabbit hole a little bit. And I interviewed another friend of mine, Chris Ignacio, on the podcast the other day, and he's gotten into puppetry a lot in New York City. And it is such a cool art form. It's one of those things I've never really known about. It is so interesting, and I really enjoy it. It's really cool.
Yeah, and it's funny because when you open the door, you're getting something from it, and it's such an interesting network of people, really humble, really welcoming. Because it's funny, the star is not you are behind or below or on the side, and you make people believe through magic and through this character. So for me, it was really therapeutic as I was coming out from theater school, and you get those challenge at school with your career, and it's really confronting to do a theater school. I don't know if it's the same for everyone, but for me it was a challenge because it's a lot of work, and after that you are a bit confused about where your career will go. But this was the best therapeutic thing I could do with art to help me to just be more objective about an object, about a body, about it's the puppet, it's the object theater, it's the thing who move, and you put the emotion and the drive and the intention into the object. And it's it's interesting when you start doing it. You just like, okay, people believe it, and it's really, yeah, a funny game.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to piggyback on that question real quick and talk about your number one booked it moment. Walk us through that day, the auditions and callbacks, if they happen to be a part of it. What was going on in your life, and what about that moment makes it your favorite booked it moment?
That's great. I want to talk about the Soleil
Mm,
because for me, it was a goal since I was a kid. Cirque was part of our childhood. We saw this circus and has maybe because it was born in Quebec, Montreal area, and like Canada. I really want to do that. And so I auditioned like in the past for them for do a replacement on Lugia or to do like they call you, oh, we have Toro, we want to have puppeteers in this show. So you do those kind of auditions, so you are in the database. But I want to talk about Axel, the day where they called me. Actually, I was doing this kind of challenge with my boyfriend who say you have to post every day and just do it. So I was posting a lot of stuff like that I have never posted maybe before. The fact that I was skating, like it's funny, people like maybe didn't know that I know really
yeah.
well how to skate because I was more in acting and doing some just ordinary acting job. So I just start to post all my skills, and just suddenly the casting called me, and we were just at it was winter and we were at home just a Monday, regular Monday, just working on stuff on the computer, and the phone rang and it was like, okay, so they want to see you for this new project, and it's a giant puppet, it's on ice, it's a robot dog. So I was, oh, okay, interesting. Okay, so they just want to see you skating a bit, or maybe you can just do a video with a puppet, or just something like actual. And we really need it fast. So I was like, okay,
Of course.
okay. So you hook up and you just, okay, I just look at my boyfriend. I was like, okay, what we do? Okay, we need to shoot something. So he said, just we will go to the ice and just film stuff because it was winter and we have a park really close of the apartment. So we said the morning we will go there and shoot. So we wake up really early to have good light. And it was really snowy, like big snow all over. And I just perform on ice, just doing some skills and funny, just having fun on ice. I was promoting the fact that if people see that you having fun, they want to work with you. So we just start with this, and I was faking that I have a puppet because we didn't have a giant robot dog in the closet.
Yeah, imagine that.
So we just filmed this little form, and yeah, he put it together as he's good in video editing, and he finished like the video with a big zoom on the smile on my face, and just the pleasure I have to skate since I'm a kid, because it was my first stage, as I said. And it's funny because we just send it, and I think the casting guy didn't propose many people for this role because it's kind of hard to find a puppeteer, skater, actor, clown person. So
Yeah,
I think
right.
he just submit this for a role and work on other stuff. But he was, okay, let's find the robot dog character first. He sent the video to the crew, and they just say, they want you. That's it. You have the job. So
Oh, brilliant.
so I was like, okay, good. So it's not, sometimes you think it's the audition is really the thing, but sometimes it's you will have many auditions before getting the perfect role for you, because you can do some other role or some other project, but if the role is for you, it will arrive on time.
Yeah, I think that's really great advice that you said that if the role is for you, it will arrive on time. Really great. And I want to take a moment to talk about the present. What projects are you working on now? What are you looking forward to? And It's a weird time, right? We're amidst this
Yeah.
global pandemic. How do you see the entertainment industry moving forward in the next couple of years?
It's so funny that you ask me this question because I'm working on a totally new project. It's really original, it's really ingenious, and it's really a new field where theater haven't been ever. Never have been
Cool,
there.
cool.
And it's totally confidential, so I cannot talk about it. So it's
Fair
so
enough.
yeah, but it's so cool that I'm part of this new project because it's also like to combine the skills that I get through working into street show and doing corporative. And when you are able to play with multiple kind of public and you are a willing person able to improvise and be spontaneous about acting, so yeah, it's a great project. You will maybe see that going into the news and social media pretty soon, but for now I'm running, I'm taking care of my health and getting in shape for this. And I also do this puppet podcast, who is this amazing adventure of connecting with people from all over the world. And as it's, you said, a pandemic time weird for the industry, I think I bring a lot of hope to the field of puppetry by just exchanging about our job and to dream about. I always ask the question in the podcast, as you said, where do you see the industry, where we go? And people are mostly positive, like artists are. It's funny, as we if you see too much of the news, you will go to the pessimist side. But as
Yeah.
we are all connected in through social media, and we can just take the time to have this vacuum of positivity and just put it together and said, okay, we will have a future, we will reinvent our art form, and yeah, we will get through this. And just take this time to connect with more people, extend your field, and just also learn, because it's the time to learn right now. Learn about other stuff, connect to your art, learn about computer, whatever, programming, video editing, learning a lot of things to be ready for the next challenge.
For sure. It's such a great blessing in disguise, isn't it? That we have this time to work on ourselves, to learn things, like you said. It's very unprecedented that we would have this kind of time to focus on really whatever it is that we want to. We're very lucky in a lot of ways.
Yes, and we have to take it with gratitude, because I feel sometimes we can go in such a bad anxiety and stress about it. But if you just tune yourself through the positivity, as I said, to take a walk, to go for a run, to just connect with nature, we can just do it with all the rules, but you can be connected with positivity and with people, with those connection with Zoom and live and stuff, so you could still perform in a new way. So I'm in the positive team.
Yeah, 100%. And it is time to move on to one of my favorite sections in the interview. I call it the Grease Lightning Round. I am going to ask you a handful of questions. I want you to answer them as quickly and concisely as possible, one after another. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, first question. What was the one thing holding you back from committing to a career as an entertainer?
The pre-made judgment of the family.
Second question. What is the best piece of advice you have ever received?
I think it's, you are a different girl. You are not like the other girl from the suburb. You are an actress and you will change the world. That was one of my coach for theater school, the coaching for the audition, who gave me this advice. And he said that I will change the world. And I take it seriously.
Third question. What is something that is working for you right now? Or if you'd like to go pre-COVID, what was working for you before our industry went on pause?
Always reaching for new connection, always getting your field, your people who know you. Like, you need to know people that you don't know all the time, to discover new people all the time.
So glad you said that. Relationships are everything. Your network in this industry and through life, really, but especially in this industry, connecting with people is how it all really comes together. I think it's a huge part of what creates a sustainable career in this industry as well.
Mm-hmm.
Great. And the fourth question, what is your best resource, whether that is a book, a movie, maybe a YouTube video, podcast, or piece of technology that you found is helping your career right now?
I want to talk about an actor whose name is Sacha Baron Cohen. He's doing this
Yes.
Borat thing. And I just saw a speech of him, the Sacha speech, not the Borat or character
Yeah.
speech, but the real guy talking. And I think everyone have to see this speech, because it's really what art is doing, and it's to change the world and to make people like think about their behavior. But this speech is so key about thinking of what is tolerance, what is intolerance. And yeah, I really, as I'm working on a clown project right now, I'm really into this kind of stuff. Where is the theater? Where is the non-theater? Where is the joke? Where is the fake? And yeah, so I could really recommend people to watch this keynote speech he has done, and it's on YouTube.
Oh, very cool. I will absolutely have to look that up after this. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And the fifth question, if you had to start your career from scratch, but you still had all the knowledge and experience you've collected from your career in this industry, what would you do or not do? Would you do anything differently, or would you keep it the same?
I would say I wouldn't work on my unicity more than trying to be the average girl who could play all the role. I will just focus and narrow on my niche first, and think really what makes me different, instead of just be universal and not missing opportunity. And also I will go in less confusion, because you at some point forget your goals about why you are doing this career. And for me, as I said earlier, is to change the world, to have an impact and wave like the society up, to send a wave of sanity and positivity with art and a new vision of the world. That's my goal and my purpose.
Yeah, really like that. And I like how you brought up you would have not tried to be so universal, but found your niche. And there's absolutely something to be said, especially in the beginning of your training, that you do explore it all, see it all, try it all, because you also don't know what, you might think you love dancing, but maybe dancing is, yeah, maybe you love it, but maybe there's a whole nother aspect of the arts that really is meant for you, right? So you have to dabble, you have to find it all. But when you find that thing that makes you unique, the thing that you know that you can bring to the table that no one else can, hone in on that.
Yeah, to be the best in your niche is like a quote, and I think it's really important. And I think it's the kind of, as you said, for the golden nugget, like the thing that you need to apply in your career. And if it was from scratch, I will do that more, instead of, because I never know that I would do a robot dog in a circus show. I was trying going into the classical acting class, but at the end it's the unicity who is paying the price and the fun of the career.
There we are. And speaking of golden nuggets, here's the last question. What is the golden nugget knowledge drop you've learned from your successful career in this industry you'd like to leave with our listeners?
I think it's really simple. It's work on yourself all the time. Don't introvert too much on yourself, and help others. Listen, people, help them. And this is key, because sometimes we are so focused on our little problem, and we forget that we need to help the world. So just by helping, it's really therapeutic, and it could help you in your career for sure.
For sure. And to wrap up this interview, Caroline, it is time to give yourself a plug. Where can we find you? How do our listeners connect with you? Is there anything you want to promote?
I think I want to talk about the Puppet Podcast. People, you can always reach me on this because it's all over social media. If you write Puppet Podcast on Google, you will find us at some point. And that's my project that I can talk about right now. But it's really important as if you don't know tree art, I really encourage you to just watch it because I feel it will influence all theater, because it's a new way of seeing life also, because it's really connect to magic and what is the objectivity of the puppeteer and what is this kind of job. Have a look on this Puppet Podcast, and feel free to write to me through social media, Facebook. I'm on all Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. All of those is the way of reaching me. And feel free if you need, because I start this Patreon. I need to talk about that. We start this Patreon account with the podcast to help artists to promote themselves online and to get over their fear or their consideration, what they think about self-promotion. So we do those kind of coaching session with artists to help puppeteers, but we are also open to help other kind of artists. So if people are curious about this kind of energy I have and how I can just help them to just get over the barrier and the challenge of self-promotion, I will really happy. And as I'm working in team with my boyfriend, who is a social media consultant, marketing specialist, is really into branding and stuff, we are a good team to help on self-promotion and all art form. If it's not puppetry, we are not just in the field. We can open up and just connect with more people and help more people. So that's the plug.
Beautiful. And for everyone listening out there, I have put the links to everything Caroline just said into the description of this episode, so you can easily connect with her and check out her podcast. And be sure to share this podcast with your fellow entertainers, coaches, teachers, educators, and anyone you know that is aspiring to create a career in this industry. You Booked It is the #1 resource of expertise on how to actually create a successful entertainment career. Caroline, thank you so much for being here. It's been such a pleasure to connect with you and get a perspective of this industry that I have never really looked at before. It's been very enlightening. Thank you.
Thank you to you for all of this great question and energy. I think it's helped us to think about what we are doing also to get interviewed. So thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Don't miss an episode. I have a new guest 7 days a week. Every guest drops more value and insight than any other resource out there. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd love to hear from you. Leave us a rating and review. Also, be sure to head over to youbookeditpodcast.com and join our free email community where we dig deep into a continually growing resource of truly actionable things you can be doing right now to help you advance your entertainment career. All the best to you. We'll see you tomorrow.